Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to this new episode of Live Coding with the B team. Today the topic is to basically remove a lot of code. So today we are going to remove bundles and remove ternary from the B code base. So this is a lot of code that will be replaced by the new transaction and message layout that comes with Chrysalis Part 2. Maybe you can tell me in the chat if you can hear me well. And I'll wait just 1 minute for more people to join. Alright. Yeah, so we have this B transaction crate that is currently composed of two modules. We have the atomic module and the bundled module. So the first one, the atomic module, is the new layout, so it's been merged this week, so we can start working around it. And we have the bundled crate, which contain the previous layout, so the transaction and the bundles. So what we are going to do right now is very simple, is to completely erase the bundled module, and then we'll have to basically fix everything in the code base. So I expect the whole code base to explode, and we'll have to fix everything. Obviously this is going to take a long time. This is not something I'll be able to do in just 1 hour in live stream, but I can at least start doing it, maybe fix a couple of crates, but yeah, this basically touch everything in the code base, so it will probably take a couple of days to fix everything. Alright, so let me just create a new branch. Alright. I heard Hornet already did this. Yes, indeed. Thanks. So yeah, this specific part has already been done in Hornet, and yeah, it ended up being a lot of removed code. So it sounds like a lot of fun. So yeah, I can just do that and completely remove the module. So now we don't have bundles anymore, we just have the new message layout and the new transactions. Yeah, so now we can see the extent of the damages. Alright, so now this is for now very simple. I need to remove the import as well, the export, which is there. Alright, so we have a first crate that doesn't compile anymore, which is the tangle crate. I expect this crate to be quite easy to fix, because the tangle has been made quite generic. So as soon as something is considered a vertex, so it has a trunk and a branch, or parent 1 and parent 2 as they are now called, it doesn't really care about anything else. So in the B code base we have two layers of the tangle. We have the base layer and the upper layer, and the base layer is fully generic. So this is this crate, and it should be quite easy to fix. So let's see what we can do. I'll just do some commits. So remove bundled module. Oops. Alright, so let's see this crate. Alright, so I'm basically going to open all of the files. Alright, so this has no dependency on the transaction. This, I think we can just remove it for now. So now the fun begins. We use some stuff that was related to bundles. So this is a helper function in the tangle crate, and what it does is to load, basically load a bundle. Since we don't have bundles anymore, we probably just don't need this function anymore. What it did is to basically follow the trunks of the bundles and just accumulate transactions until it's able to construct a bundle. Since now it's completely different and we don't even have the concept of bundles anymore, we don't need this function at all. So I'm just going to completely remove the file since it's the only function in the file. Yeah, so I don't need this. And now this module disappeared. Alright, so now we import the transaction. In the previous model, in the previous version, in Chrysalis part 1, the vertex of the tangle was the transaction, because inside the transaction you had the trunk and the branch. Now the vertex of the tangle is the message. So yeah, I'm going to import message instead. So this is not called a transaction ref anymore. This is called a message ref. And this is not a transaction anymore. This is a message. Alright, I think we are good for this one. Yeah, maybe if you are not familiar with Rust, I can explain what's happening here. This is basically a wrapper around the message, and it's wrapped in an arc. An arc basically allows in Rust to share the ownership of the same object in a thread-safe way. So basically there is only one allocation for the message, and then there is this wrapper that counts all of the references of this message in a thread-safe way. So you can end out a lot of these arcs, but at the end they all point to the same message. So that's what a message ref is. So in the tangle we always give message ref. So you always know that you have a thread-safe reference to a message somewhere in the tangle. And there is a way to dereference this reference to an actual message. Okay, so this file is fine now. So this one is just a test. We don't really care about this one now. Now we have this. Alright, so we removed transaction ref to message ref. So I'm going to remove everything. Message ref. Alright. What did we need from that? Bundle transaction as takes. So this is the transaction. So this is now a message. And this is in the prelude. Oops. Of course, please feel free to ask questions in the chat if you have some. So we also need the vertex. Alright, so something I want to do as part of this commit as well is to change the vertex. Yes. So in the previous version, you all know, if you know IOTA, you know that the vertex references are called trunk and branch. We are now renaming them to something more generic, parent 1 and parent 2. So I want to do that as well. I probably need to edit the message as well here. Yes, so parent 1. parent 2. Alright, I'll just commit that independently. Parent 1, parent 2. Alright, so this is done. Alright, so we have the vertex from the B transaction crate, which basically tells how a vertex for the tangle should be implemented, and then we have the vertex in the tangle crate. At the moment, I don't exactly remember why it was done like that, but Vertex doesn't implement Vertex. We can change that. It basically implements struct and branch, which are the methods of the Vertex thread, but it doesn't implement the Vertex thread. It probably should. So I'm going to do that. Oops. Alright, so impl Vertex for. So of course it needs to be renamed. Oops. What did I do? Alright, and these two functions are now part of the thread implementation. And they need to be renamed to parent1 whoops, parent1 and parent2. Alright, we don't need the pub anymore. And we need a type ID equal message ID. And this is now self ID, self ID. Alright, so we need to import message ID as well. And we don't need the previous hash anymore. Alright, so now we can rename transaction to message. Message. Alright, and this file looks good. Alright, this one doesn't compile anymore. So thanksref is now messageref. Alright, now this load. This is message. Alright, so what breaks? Alright, so trunk is now parent1. Branch is now parent2. Alright, what's happening now? Alright, so we need to remove the previous hash. And we need to replace all of its occurrences by message ID. Alright, yeah, by replacing everything I messed up with something else, hash set, so I need to fix that. Alright, and we need message ID as well. This we don't need anymore. So takes is now supposed to be message. And we don't have that much mistakes anymore. This is message now. And we have one last. Alright, it looks like this file is fine. We don't need this import. I'm not going to rename the name of the variables as part of this live stream because this would take a lot of time. So you can see, for example, that this was hash and it's still called hash. If I start replacing everything, even the variable names, or yeah, that's going to take a lot of time, so I'll just do that after the live stream. But it seems that this is compiling fine now. Alright, this file. This is message ref. Alright. So this is message. This is parent one. Oops. And this is parent 2. So what's happening here? No method parent 1. Alright, so this is now a thread method, so we need to import the thread. I am not sure where the thread is. It's there. No. Alright, it's not imported, so I need to oh yeah, no, that's not the right one. That's not the thread. So use the transaction prelude Vertex. It's not in the prelude. Alright, cool. So we don't need the hash anymore. So obviously this is going to break everything. These are all message IDs now. And like earlier I broke the set. So this is now our set. And we need to import prelude message ID. Alright, I see it looks like it compiles. I don't see any red flag. Cool. What about this one? This is a test, so maybe I'll fix the test after the live stream. And this is one as well. Let's see how it compiles. Alright, so now the mistakes btangle compiled. So now the mistakes are on another crate. So that's pretty cool. So we are done with the tangle crate. So it's now fully transitioned to the new transaction format. So I'm going to commit that. right. So we are now with the B snapshot crate. Just so we have, maybe I can, so protocol, let's see, IOTA ledger. So we currently have an RFC proposal for the new file format for the local snapshots. I've just been made aware that it's not up to date with the latest prototype. So I'm not entirely sure I'm going to spend that much time on trying to make it adopt something that would be discarded soon. But yeah, maybe I'll just see what I can do, and but I'm probably not going to finish this crate as part of this live stream. Obviously the crate that is going to be the hardest to migrate will be the protocol one, because it heavily depends on the transaction format. There is also the B ledger crate, but it's quite a short crate to be honest at the moment, so I don't think it would be that much of a problem to migrate it. Alright, let's see the snapshot crate. Alright, I'll just open the failing files. So we have global. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with global snapshot files, to be honest, in Chrysalis Part 2. So I'm probably just going to disable them for now, because there is a proposal for a local snapshot. There is no proposal for global snapshot, so I'm not sure exactly what's the plan for it. Yeah, so I'll probably just end up disabling it for now. How do I do that? Alright, so I'll just let some to do. Alright, so what's happening here? That's where we initialize the snapshot, and we basically match on the type that is dictated by the configuration file. So you previously, at least, you chose if you wanted to load a local snapshot file or a global snapshot file. What I'm going to do is to basically just comment out the global part. Alright, so this is not needed at the moment. Alright, now let's look at what we have. So it's not happy because we still have some global things. Global. All right. Oh, why is it not happy? Missing arm. Yeah, right. Should be happy now. Alright, so in the previous model we had what we call a balance model, which is basically you associate all of the balances with their value, with their actual balance. So you had address balance. Now it's a bit more complex in terms of what we are going to return. It's not a simple association address balance. It's more of a collection of UTXO, so a collection of unspent output. So this type is probably going to change. to something that I guess would be similar to what we can see in this RFC. So basically a hash map of a hash and then a collection of UTXOs. So that would be something like a hash map of a transaction ID. So I need to import that. Of transaction ID and then a vector of an output. So if I go somewhere in this crate, payload, transaction, output, this is this one. So you can see address and amount, and this is exactly this one. So an address and an amount. So this is this type. Signature locked single output, so I'm going to import it as well. Alright, and this is what we want to return. Alright, let's see what breaks now. Local file. Alright. Local file, and now a lot of things break because we are still using the previous formats. We are also going to remove ternary here because we don't need to load anything that would be ternary. So I'm just going to remove the dependency from this crate. So ternary is now gone. So this is probably going to create a lot of new errors. Alright, so ternary, I don't need this import anymore. Now let's see what changed from the previous local snapshot format to the new one. So we had a version byte, it's still there. We had a timestamp, which is an unsigned 64 integer. It did exist, but it has been moved, so I'm just putting it in its place. Alright. Then we need a milestone index. We add that. It has been moved also. Alright, and it's been made 64 as well, so I need to change that. Alright. And then we add milestone hash, which is 32 bytes. This is not really, I'm going to call milestone message ID. This is not 49 anymore, this is 32. A lot of this weird ternary conversion is just going to disappear now. So I can just completely remove these lines. This is way more simpler now. This is just message ID new with the buffer. I need to import message ID. Alright. Now we can just return that. Yeah. Message ID. Even to simply print it, it's way simpler now because we don't need to convert to try just for it to be human readable. We can just I'm going to rename that message ID, and I can just print that. Alright, next is what SCP count, so the number of solid entry points. If you don't know what that is, solid entry points is just these are just some hashes that when you try to solidify your node, you won't ask for their past. You consider that they are automatically solid. So it's just a way to have a bound in the tangle, so that when you launch your node, you don't have to fetch absolutely the whole tangle. You just fetch some part, and the SCPs are a lower bound for this tangle. So this previously existed, so I'm not going to touch that. It just seems that the number has been made a 64 as well. Alright, 64. Alright, number of scene milestones. This completely disappeared, so I'm going to remove it. I also need to remove it from the metadata. Alright, so number of solid entry points, and then we have the number of UTXOs. So it's not balances anymore, it's UTXO. UTXO none. This has been made a 64 as well. UTXO. Wait, was it pure? Yeah. Alright. Then the spent addresses obviously disappeared as well, so I'm going to remove that. And then we have the solid entry points. I'm just going to remove the scene milestones that disappeared. Oops. Alright, and now alright, so this has been made easy as well. So what do we have here? We have an array of 32 bytes, an array of 32 bytes. So it's just basically there is no index anymore. So alright. So it means that I have to change something here. Solid entry points, so it's not hashes anymore, it's the transaction, prelude, message ID, and it's not a hash map anymore, it's just a vector. Of message ID, of course. And this is also a message ID. While I'm there, I'm going to change this, call it message ID, and this would be a message ID as well. Alright, so we are fine with that. Now this is message ID here as well. Alright, back to here. So now this is not insert, this is push. So we need to index. This is now called the message ID. Alright, this is not this birth message ID. Alright. we don't need the buffer for the index. Alright, and now this is also very much simpler. We just need to create, we can remove message ID, new from the buffer. Right, and we can return that. And I think we are fine with that. This is now a vector, and this is 32 bytes. Alright, so I think we are fine with the solid entry points. Now this is not balances, this is UTXOs. Yeah, and now I'm not going to proceed very much further with this crate because we don't have the serialization and deserialization of the UTXO objects yet. So this is the last piece that is missing for loading local snapshots. It's not there yet. So yeah, what I'm going to do probably is just to temporarily comment out the word crate so that it's not compiled anymore, and I'll get back to this crate when we have the serialization, deserialization. So start migrating the snapshot to message layout. Alright. What I can do now is to start working on this one, on the B protocol crate. This is by far the biggest crate we have in the B project, so yeah, this is probably going to be quite difficult to transition. But let's see what it does. Alright, so it still compiles the snapshot crate because there is a dependency from the protocol crate, so I'm just going to disable it. Alright, let's see the extent of the damages. Alright, that's a lot. Alright, let's see, what do we have here? Alright, so something I noticed is the metadata. Alright, in the metadata we have a flag called tail, which with the bundle module was supposed to tell if a transaction is the first one of a bundle or not. This is obviously not needed anymore, so I'm going to remove tail and remove the two associated functions. Also that moves all of the bit set, so I'm going to do that. Just fixing all of the bit set. Alright, I hope I got it right. Let me double check. Yeah, it looks good. Alright, so we don't have this anymore. Alright, this is going to be fun. Alright, something I can start doing is to change all references of trunk and range to parent 1 and parent 2. So I'm going to open everything. Alright. let's see what we can do. So trunk, parent 1. Alright, trunk, this is the only one here, parent 1. Right, this is all commented out, but I'm still going to change this just in case if we ever use that code. Wait, what is this? So this is some tangle helpers. Find tail of bundle. So it looks like this is a function we just don't need anymore at all. Find tail of bundle. So I guess that's a way to iterate over a bundle until we find the tail. Yeah, this looks like a function we just don't need anymore. And we have on all tails. Since it mentioned tails as well, I'm assuming we don't need that as well. So I'm going to go forward and just erase it. And maybe just completely erase this module. Yeah, let's erase it. Removing is fun. Alright, and I need to remove that. Alright, and last file with some trunks. Parent. Oops. Parent 1. Alright, if I didn't do any mistake, yeah, we don't have any trunk anymore. I'm going to repeat the same process with branch. Alright, this is not what we are looking for. Alright, so branch. This is now parent 2. Branch. This is the only occurrence, parent 2. Parent 2. I think I messed up here. No. Parent 2. Alright, I'm just going to double check if everything is fine. Branch. What? Branch. Alright. Did I mess up? No, I think my editor is doing something fun. Yeah, no, I think it's fine. Alright, let's see where we are at. Alright, this is still a lot. Let's see what we can do. Alright, so let's fix the tangle part of the protocol. It should be straightforward as well. Alright, so all txref are now message ref. all instances of tx are now message. Yeah, if you remember my introduction, I said that we have basically two versions of the tangle. We have the base layer, which is fully generic and basically only deals with the relationships between the messages. And then we have something on top, built on top of it, that deals with all of the metadata. So some stuff that are closely tied to the protocol. But it's been made this way so that you can technically implement different kind of tangles. For example, you can easily imagine that for Chronicle, for example, they have a tangle, but they don't share the same kind of metadata. So this way we can share the same base, but built on top we have some differences. This is the prelude. We just take the message. Alright, so what breaks here? The hash, we can simply remove that. And we need to include the message ID. Alright, and we need to replace all occurrences of the hash with message ID. Alright, I am not seeing any more errors at the moment. It's still compiling. I think this file is fine. Yeah, it's fine. This one is fine as well. This one compiled. And we have this. Does it compile? Well, we don't need the hash anymore. So we need to import prelude message ID. Alright, and we can replace hash by message, message ID, and I messed up that, which is hash set. Alright, I think this function is fine. Yes. Let's see what we have now. So in the configuration we have some stuff. We have some ternary stuff here that we probably don't want anymore. We have some address. This is interesting. Alright, I'm going to keep this error for now. Alright, so we have the bundle validator, which obviously should not exist anymore, or at least not in this specific way. I'm going to rename it first. It's not a bundle validator, it's a message validator. And I'm going to rename that as well. Alright, so this becomes message validator. If you remember, this load bundle builder disappeared, so I can just remove it. Hash disappeared as well, I remove it, but I need to import as usual the transaction, payload, message ID. Alright, so there is no loading of it, so I'm just going to comment it for now. Alright. Alright, message validator. I still have some occurrences of hash here. So yeah, obviously this is a message ID. Alright, what do we have more interesting? Alright, so I need to change every occurrence of the bundle validator. Alright. Message validator. Alright, so this one should be fine now. What do we have more? Let's run it again. Alright, so this one has still some hash. Preload, message ID. We probably have a lot of hashes, I guess. No, only one. Alright. I see some tail here, and tail disappeared. So we can probably remove that. That's in the processor. Transaction, processor. What do we have here? Where was this tail? 187. 187. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just going to remove that. Also hash the transaction, preload, message ID, and every instance of hash. That's the only one. Cool. Alright, I still see some tail. Milestone validator. Where is this milestone validator? Alright. Where is the hash? There. And the transaction. Reload. And some hashes. Right, and I think we removed this, so we can just remove it there. Alright, I'll remove that in a bit. Alright, again some hashes, so I'm going to open them all and remove all of the hashes. We don't have hash here, we don't here. Wait, where was that? Solidify milestone. Alright, I'm going to do something different. Maybe it would be quicker. Alright, so hash. Maybe this one. Hash. Yeah, that's a lot of hash for me. Alright, so this one is a test that is commented, so we don't care. This doesn't exist. Use the transaction root hash missing ID. So where were the hashes? There. Alright. No hash here. Alright, so now use the transaction reload message ID and here. So this is not transaction solidified, this is message solidified. Alright, so now is the time. We only have 1 minute left, so I'm not going to try to start something else. Obviously the protocol crate is far away from compiling, as you can see, but we have way less than when we started, so that's pretty good. It's probably going to take a lot of hours to complete it, so yeah, won't be able to finish that in the live stream. So yeah, that was just me starting to get rid of bundles and get rid of ternary. Obviously this is not as straightforward because this was the core of the technology up until now, but yeah, we are doing the switch for Chrysalis Part 2, so it has to be done quite quickly. I assume the whole process will be done by somewhere next week, which is pretty nice. So yeah, I'm going to start now, but if you have some questions, I'll stay for a couple of minutes. looks like there is no question. Alright, then thank you for joining, and see you next week for a new episode.